video, I'll be reacting to Matt Walsh's abortion arguments. More about that in this video. Welcome to Puppy Talks, everybody. I'm your host, Kenneth Glenn. Today, I'm going to be reacting to these arguments that Matt Walsh made about the abortion issue. As you all know, or as you all may know, I am a pro-lifer. I don't think abortion is justified in any circumstance. As a Christian, I believe that life starts at conception, and if you abort the baby, that you are killing a life. Not just any life, the life of your own child, because you're a psychopath. And abortion isn't healthcare. I've made a video about this in the past, and today I'll be just talking about Matt Walsh's arguments and how I think about them. So let's talk about that. So, the first argument of Matt Walsh's is that a woman has the right to choose. He says that the answer is no, nobody has the universal right to choose. We all agree that some choices must be prohibited. The question is not if women should be able to choose generally, but if they should be able to choose intentionally to destroy innocent human life. If you say that they do have that right, then you have to defend that choice on its merits. You cannot defend the choice based simply on the fact that it is one. I agree with this. One of my biggest abortion arguments is when people say, it's my body, my choice. I instantly rebuttal and say, okay, if a mass shooter wants to shoot up a facility, does he have the right to do that? Because it is his body. It's his body, his choice, right? If a man wants to rape a woman, that's his body, his choice, right? He has the choice to choose what he wants to do, right? Just because something is a choice does not mean it is a good choice. There's a man, I forgot the quote, who said the quote, but it's just because you have the right to do something does not make it the right thing to do. Alright, moving on to the second argument here. Pro-lifers want to control women's bodies. Answer: the body in the dispute is not the mother's. The question, again, is whether the body of the human in her womb can intentionally be destroyed. The child's body is the one at issue here. And we as pro-lifers are the ones trying to defend it. Besides, the people making this argument won't even know what a woman is.
What is a woman?
Or what her body is. So that's the problem as well. But more on that later. That is also true. Okay? We're not trying to control what you can and can't do with your bodies. If you want to get a breast reduction surgery or you want to get your tubes tied, we don't care.
We do not care.
However, if you get pregnant, that's on you. You made a choice to have unprotected sex, or to have sex in general. You got pregnant as a result of that. You're not having sex and going, wait, I didn't know that I can get pregnant. What? No one told me that. No, everyone knows that you can get pregnant if you have sex.
That's kind of the point.
It makes sense. It's obvious. So if you get pregnant after having had sex, then that's on you. And you should not just kill the baby because it's inconvenient for you to have the baby. That's stupid. That's a stupid argument. We're not trying to control your body, okay? In the same way that the government's not going to try to control a rapist's body, okay? The government, no rapist is going to go, hey, the government's trying to control my body because I can't rape all the women I want to. No one's saying that. But somehow if a woman wants to kill her baby, somehow that's justified. And that choice should be a good choice. It's not. Pro-lifers are only pro-birth. They don't care about babies after they are born. This is one of my least favorite arguments. And the answer: you have no data or evidence to support this claim. Besides, our position is that babies in the womb who have moral worth equal to babies outside, of course we believe babies on the outside have worth. That's the whole basis of our argument. That's true. Our assertions that babies in the womb have worth is based on the contention that babies and all people outside have worth. Our argument hinges on the comparison between humans inside and outside of the womb. And our connection is that there is no inherent difference in these groups aside from their physical location. That is a good argument. I haven't thought about it that way before, actually. So, I like what he said here. He said that, of course, babies outside of the womb have worth. That's the whole basis of our argument. Because we're saying that we consider the baby inside of the womb to be as valuable as a person outside of the womb. That's our argument. So it's kind of like that figure eight thing. I'm trying to do it. You know that like figure eight thing? It's kind of like we support babies in the womb. We support people outside of the womb. They're the same thing. People who are anti-life or pro-death, who like killing babies, they'll say that they're not babies in the womb, and then they'll go, we love human life, and what about the people in adoption centers? The fetus is just a clump of cells. This is one of my least favorite arguments, because it's just, well, it's not my least favorite, it's my favorite argument, because it's the easiest one to destroy. The answer, we are all clumps of cells. Some of us are far clumpier than the average infant. None of that is relevant. What is relevant is whether the fetus is a distinct and separate human entity, which he is. He is distinct and separate because he has his own DNA and his own developing body. He is a human being because that DNA is human and because he was conceived by two humans. That is true. The next one. The fetus is not a person, but a potential person. No, he is, again, a distinct human entity. If this is not the definition of a person, then none of us are persons. Also, even if he is a potential person, it doesn't automatically follow that we should destroy him. Do you believe that all non-persons can be killed? What if I decapitated a bald eagle? How would you feel about that? That's one of the abortion arguments I use all the time. The endangered animal abortion argument. How do you feel about that? You see, you are wrong that an unborn child isn't a person. By definition, he is. But even if you were right, you'd still be wrong. That's how wrong you are. A living creature's status as a potential person does not automatically justify destroying him. We all agree that there are all manners of non-person life forms that we shouldn't kill. Now you have to prove not only that the unborn child isn't a person, which you can't. That's a good argument. I use that argument a lot because, for example, Adolf Hitler, his justification of killing Jews was that they weren't people. That was his argument. Jews aren't people, so we should just be able to kill them. They're evil. They're pure evil. He was a radical Martin Luther fan, like the original Martin Luther King. He followed what he said a lot. But that was the argument for a lot of things back in the day. Slaves. Oh, they're not really people. That's the only way you can justify the killing of things is to dehumanize them. Because if you humanize something and you kill it, you would feel an immense guilt for it. So in order to be able to kill something, you have to dehumanize it. That's the thing. Women have reproductive rights.
You want to hear a joke? Women's rights.
Answer. This one I agree with. Nobody should ever force a woman to reproduce. But birth is not reproduction. Conception is reproduction. By the time the abortion is procured, reproduction has already occurred. That's a good argument. What about rape and incest? The answer, not an argument. It's a hypothetical. Rape and incest only account for 1% of all abortions. These are hard and rare cases. They might mitigate the individual moral culpability of a woman who chooses abortion, but they do not change the fact that the unborn child is a distinct human entity, i.e. a human being, i.e. person, and therefore worthy of the same protections as the rest of us receive. We cannot kill the child for the sins of the father. If you want to execute somebody for rape, execute the rapist, not the baby. I agree with that, and I've been an advocate for this for a very long time. For a while, I used to think that rape and incest should be the only grounds for abortion, but then I much later disagree with that now. I disagree with that. I've disagreed for that for a while. Because just because something bad happened to you does not justify the killing of innocent life. Women cannot be forced to remain pregnant. They have bodily autonomy. The answer, no, they don't have absolute autonomy. And yes, they should be forced to remain pregnant if other options is to kill the child. If this sounds harsh to you, then consider the fact that we already force parents to do all kinds of things for their born children.
I don't know what you heard about me.
That's a great argument. I've never even thought of it like that before. I don't think I've ever thought of it like that before. I love this. We force them to feed their children, clothe their children, and care for their children every second of the day. We impose responsibilities on the parents that we do not impose on anyone else. I am required to do things for my child that I don't have to do for other humans on earth. If parents do not fulfill this obligation, they must find someone who will. They cannot simply leave their child on the side of the road, nor can they drown their kid in a bathtub. Murder and neglect are not acceptable parenting strategies for babies outside of the womb, and they shouldn't be for babies inside the womb either. I love that argument. I've never thought of it like that before. Very good. I like that. Alright, two more. Fetuses aren't conscious. Oh boy, I love this one. How many of you guys have seen that Ben Shapiro debate where he's like, if you're asleep, can I stab you?
I believe that sentience is what gives something moral value, not necessarily being a human alone.
Okay, because, when you're asleep, can I stab you?
I think that's where it's going here. First of all, how do you know? We basically know nothing about the nature of consciousness. We can't even agree on what consciousness is, much less where it comes from or how it works. Besides, let's say they aren't conscious. How does that justify murder? Especially when they know their state of consciousness is temporary. Should it be legal to kill sleeping people? What about a person who's in a coma but expected to recover in a few months? Let's just say 9 months, for example. But if consciousness is the measure, then shouldn't the right to life be granted in decrees according to the level of consciousness? Not everyone is equal in consciousness. A 25-year-old has greater consciousness and self-awareness than a 1-year-old. What about old people with dementia? They're conscious to some degree, but it's fading. What about people who make small talk in elevators? They appear to have no self-awareness at all. How far does this go? What is the limiting principle here? There isn't one. See, the only thing that is guaranteed, that we can guarantee, is that life starts at conception. That is the only way. Okay? Because there's no point where life starts to develop before conception. A single sperm cell cannot develop a life. A single egg cannot develop a life. The life starts when the egg and the sperm develop. And if everything goes right, it will turn into a human. And if that human is born and everything goes right, it'll grow up to be an adult. There's no part before that. So the pro murder crowd argue that it's not conscious, it's not a person yet. But then we ask them to define what it is, and they can't define it. Pro-lifers are just a bunch of men trying to boss women around.
I am here to protect women.
Not true. Pro-life movement is and always led by primarily women, especially what's her name, Roe. She actually regretted the decision to make Roe v. Wade a thing. She actually regrets that decision her whole life. Also, irrelevant, Also a double-edged sword. Roe v. Wade was decided by men. Wrecked. Should we overturn it on the basis? I'm guessing you would say no. Finally, what is this woman word you use? What does that mean? Can you define it? I didn't think so. So this is an opinion piece, obviously. This is amazing. I love this. I learned a lot. I learned a little bit. Let's be real. I like these arguments. These are good arguments. These are very solid arguments. So anyways, let me know your thoughts down below. I hope you enjoyed the video, guys. Please leave a comment, subscribe for more. And also, don't use the word straw man argument in the comments down below, please. You make yourself look so stupid. Anyways, see you guys later.